Let's try something a little bit different this morning. Do you think you're a good listener? And by that I mean not just being able to pay attention to what's being said, but to who is saying it. If you think you're a good listener, well, I think you're right. As a matter of fact, I think we're all good listeners, and I want to prove it to you. In a second, I'm going to ask you to close your eyes, and you're going to hear two voices greeting you. One is going to be from me, and one's going to be from somebody else. Let's see if you can listen and determine which one's me and which one's the somebody else. So go ahead and close your eyes right now. Keep them closed. And here comes voice number one. And voice number two. Good morning, church family. Open your eyes. I could tell by your reaction that that was pretty easy for you to determine that the first one was not me, but our very own Pastor Hafer. Thank you, Pastor Hafer. It's wonderful to have you and Marianne with us today. And the second one was me. And that little demonstration, I think, proves to you that you're good listeners. And we need to be good listeners because after all, in this world these days, we're bombarded with messages from all over. Technology in particular, it leaves us almost impossible to be disconnected. So with all these voices coming at us, how are we to know which ones are for our benefit and which ones for our detriment? Which ones are the voice of truth? Well, in our gospel lesson today from John chapter 18, Pilate, the Roman governor, is trying to determine that truth. And he has Jesus brought before him. Jesus has been arrested. He's been put on trial. And Pilate, the governor, is hearing all these claims against Jesus, and he's trying to find out what's true. So he asks Jesus, and Jesus has this rather poignant and simple response. He says, "You say that I am king, and for this I was born, and for this I've come into the world to testify to the truth, and that everyone who belongs to the truth listens to my voice." Now, if that's all you heard and that's all you knew of Jesus, it's going to leave you asking a lot of questions. Well, what is the truth that Jesus is speaking, and how do I belong to that? Well, it's a good thing we have a Bible, and 4 Gospels in particular, that detail those truths of Jesus. And I'll cut right to the chase. One story in particular where Jesus is teaching to a crowd, and somebody, much like Pilate, is trying to get the truth out. And he asks Jesus this question about which is the most important, which is the truest of this life and beyond. And Jesus says, to love the Lord your God with all your heart, and to love your neighbor as you love yourself. And when pressed further, the man asks Jesus, well, who is my neighbor? Who am I to love as I love myself? And Jesus doesn't just say, well, your neighbor is the ones you care about, the ones you love, the ones that live next to you. No, he tells a story of a man in need, a man hurt and lying by the side of the road. And his neighbors, the ones that he knows, the ones who are close, they're too busy and unable and unwilling to help him. But instead, this Good Samaritan from a different culture, from a different faith practice, from not a friend, but maybe seen as an opponent, that's the one who comes to the aid. That's the one who helps. That's the one who, Jesus would say, listens to my voice, and it belongs to my truth. So the voices that we're hearing, weeding through all of them, finding the one that is true, it's the voice of Jesus, the voice of compassion. It's the voice of love and understanding. So good listeners, what are we going to do with that message? How are we going to act in that truth now that we know that truth is love and truth is Jesus? Amen.